G'day gymnastics skill seekers, welcome back to another training vlog. It's an exciting one, this one. I've unlocked a new movement that I've never done before, but we'll get to that in a minute. So our big adventure has started. We're currently doing a house swap, or in the process of doing a house swap. So we're moving from northern Queensland all the way down to the west coast of South Australia. It's about a 4,000 kilometre drive, but we're breaking that up and we're catching up with family and friends along the way. So the change of scenery is at my parents' place, both here where I am right now and some of the videos you're going to see of my training in this post. So it's currently phase 3 of 2023. I'm doing week 4 right now, but I'm going to show you videos from week 4 and week 3. And I'm talking about day 3 of training. So 4 days in my schedule, and this is going to be day 3. So day 3 is all about the front splits and the gymnastics bridge in my flexibility. And then in my strength, I'm working on my press to handstand. And I've just got some bent arm strength ring routine that I'm going to share with you today. So let's get stuck in and see how session 3 is going. So we start with the front splits and gymnastics bridge work. So I'm doing this prone arching cobra with the feet anchored. So when I had the gym and I had the weights, I was just setting up heavy weights and locking my ankles under the weights and working on this, extreme sort of cobra position. I've moved the hands. So in the last phase, the hands were down by my side. Now I'm bringing the hands up to be beside the head. This changes the lever, the weight of the lever, makes it a little bit harder. So it's just a way to overload this movement. In the last phase, I was doing 3 reps of 10-second holds. In this phase, I'm doing 6 to 8 repetitions with just a 3-second hold at the top of each repetition. The idea of this is to strengthen the posterior chain, strengthen the muscles in the back that help pull the spine into extension, which is obviously going to help with the gymnastics bridge. This one's a real burner, so it gets stuck into the hamstrings, glutes, and back muscles in a really deep manner, so give it a try. This week when I'm traveling, I don't have access to all the weights and everything. It's all packed in the back of the trailer. I'm not going to pull it all out. So I'm just making do with this railing at my parents' place. And I've just elevated the hips on some yoga blocks just to try and get the alignment correct. I don't feel the contraction is as strong, but I'm still definitely getting a good contraction here. And I'm just doing the best with the equipment that I have. From here, we're moving into a long lunge reach back. So I've been working the long lunge. If you've been paying attention to my vlogs, I've been feeling a little bit of a hamstring strain in the right upper hamstring. And especially in the long lunge where we're trying to sink down into the front splits because that front knee is more extended. But with this one, we're trying to keep that front knee bent at 90 degrees. So I'm not getting any pain in the hamstring here. And it's more about lengthening the anterior chain and feeling a deep stretch in the hip flexors here. Again, we're doing some spinal extension. So this is helping with the bridge goal, but at the same time, there's a lot of flexibility going on in the front of the hip, stretching out those hip flexors and those quads. So repetitions, moving in and out of this stretch 5 times, it can be a bit of a challenge on balance, especially when you're on an uneven surface. And then on the last rep, just trying to hold for 20 seconds. So you can see as I do multiple repetitions, I definitely get further and further into the range of motion. This one's a really deep stretch. I'm trying to lift up through the chest and try to get as much of the spinal arching coming from thoracic spine. But yeah, I really feel this in and around the hips, so definitely targeting the right areas with this one. From here, this is being supersetted with a feet elevated bridge push-up, which has been in my program, for a number of phases now. We're working more here on the spinal arching. So often we see gymnastics bridge being performed with the hands further away from the elevated surface or further away from the feet. And we're trying to push up and we're trying to open the shoulder angle as much as we can. And we use the gymnastics bridge to stretch out, that shoulder position. What we're doing now is more of like a contortionist bridge. Well, that's what my gymnastics coach is telling me. And it's the idea is to focus more on the spinal extension. So I'm moving my hands close to my feet, as close as I feel comfortable getting them. And I'm doing my push-ups there. And I'm just really focusing again on contracting those muscles in the back and extending the spine as much as I can. So keeping the spine in extension, moving up and down there. And then also, as I start to increase that flexibility, I am trying to open the shoulders, but that's not the priority here. So definitely feel that my arch is getting better. And funnily enough, like for a lot of times I was feeling these gymnastics push-ups in my wrists, but with the hands closer to the feet, you have less wrist extension. So it's actually easier. The further away the hands are from the feet, the greater the level of wrist extension needs to be. I never really thought about that until I started doing this variation. I was like, oh, my wrists don't hurt anymore. And then really thinking, oh, this is actually less wrist extension. So yeah, it's a lot less pain in the wrists. And yeah, just enjoying the flexibility that I'm starting to get in the gymnastics bridge. That's the flexibility session. It's just those 3 exercises. It was 3 rounds of the long lunge and the feet elevated bridge push-ups. It was 6 to 8 reps in the bridge push-up and then a 20-second hold is all I'm doing there. So after that, I move into my gymnastics warm-up, which is the daily dozen that I'm working through. I've spoken about that in the past. You can go back to vlog 17, I think it is, to learn more about this daily dozen. But it's just me choosing sort of 12 exercises. I'm doing 1 set of each exercise. And these exercises, you know, they're sort of foundation movements for me right now. They're all stuff I can comfortably do, but they're helping me get in more volume. So if I'm doing these 3 times a week and it's just 1 set, or it's like doing, you know, 3 sets of each of these exercises over the whole week. So it's just adding in, you know, some consistency in the practice, some foundation work and stuff that's going to help me get closer to my gymnastics goals. So it takes a little while sometimes to get through these, but I definitely feel warm and ready to go after I've done that. We're starting this one with like an L-sit press to stand. So on the P-bars and just working from that L-sit, straight arm pressing exercise. And obviously it's going to help for the L-sit press to handstand. And it's also going to help for like a stalwart press when you think about it. So it's straight arm pressing strength. You can do this where you just go L-sit press to stand with the feet on the floor. But what I've been trying to do is I'm trying to go to an elevated surface, which is forcing me to press higher. Okay, get those feet higher off the ground as I do that transition. I can even do the reps where I go from stand to L-sit and then press back up again. So we're just doing 5 reps here. We can break these up. We can do them all at once if you've got the strength. But I'm just working through these. And this is, again, just a little bit of a warm-up for what's to come next, which is the L-sit press to handstand on the P-bars. So this has been, again, in my training for the last couple of phases, and I haven't been managing to unlock this just yet. So I was struggling. I'd go from the L-sit and I'd come through and I'd press, and I just couldn't quite get, you know, the movement high enough, my hips high enough, and, you know, can complete that press. And this session this week, it started the same. But what I noticed is like, okay, I can do this L-sit press to stand, or I can do my L-sit press to handstand, and I get to a certain height where I struggle, and then I come back down, I'm resting for a little bit, and then I'm doing a press to handstand, okay? But the press to handstand where I start is lower than where I'm pressing to when I'm doing the L-sit attempt press to handstand. So it's like, well, I can do this. If I can press that high in my L-sit press to handstand, and then I can do a press handstand with my feet lower than that, well, then I've definitely got the strength to be able to bring this together. So part of it's just ticking that box. It's that mental, I can do this. So I was like, well, I'm just going to keep trying this and keep trying this. By set 3, I got my first repetition. So I actually went from L-sit press to handstand, which was the first time I've done that. Pretty happy about that. Unlocked that probably a little bit sooner than I thought I was going to. I thought maybe by week 5, maybe by week 6, I'd get it done. But week 4, here it is. So let's hope it sticks around. We'll see how it goes. So that was set 4, and then set 5, I managed to do it again. So I've got 2 reps now under my belt. I think a lot of warm-up. I think, you know, being recovered, I think all these little check boxes are going to have to be in place for me to be able to keep doing this movement. But over time, practicing, repeating, building the confidence, knowing I can do it, it's definitely going to help. So pretty excited about that. Tick that one off the list, and we move forward. That's the straight arm pressing for today. So that's the press to handstand stuff. And then my little finisher is just, I'm going to go through 3 sets of this bent arm strength routine on the gymnastics rings. So it's 1 muscle up into 1 forward roll, into 4 dips, into 4 pull-ups. Now it's a bit tricky. My pull-up bar that I've got, this traveling pull-up bar that I've made, just isn't high enough for me to be able to do sort of these movements, the forward roll and the pull-ups especially combined. So I need a certain amount of space between the rings and the pull-up bar so I can keep this straight body forward roll, but then also I need a certain amount of space between the rings and the ground to be able to do pull-up. So I'm finding if the sweet spot there, I can just get the forward roll out and then my knees are just coming to the ground at the bottom of the pull-up, which is making it a little bit awkward, a little bit tricky. So this week I'm at my folks and I've got a little bit of a higher mounts to be able to put that on, but still the distance between, you know, the bar I'm hanging this off and the ground is pretty close to me, having to definitely keep my knees bent in the pull-ups. It feels pretty good, but by the end of all the pressing and all the stuff that I've done, I might get one set out where I manage to do the 4 dips and the 4 pull-ups, and then after that the pull-ups will just start to drop off. It'll be like 2 pull-ups, it'll be like 1 pull-up, it'll be like, oh, game over. So yeah, just a matter of building that endurance there, and maybe it'd be cool to try it out on a higher mount, so I've definitely got more room. I feel that would help just a little bit. But yeah, it's a nice little thing to have a little ring routine. I really enjoy ring routines. I've done them in the past. And as we start to learn new gymnastic skills on the rings, it's cool to be able to bring them in and add them into the ring routine. The forward roll is something that I've only unlocked, you know, in the last few months. So it's nice to include that there. My muscle ups have definitely been getting stronger. Dips and pull-ups have always felt pretty good on the rings, but yeah, by the end of this session, they're pretty smoked. But anyway, that's the session. So excited about my press to handstand, really finding that I'm making good progress with the front splits and the gymnastics bridge. And yeah, look forward to sharing the progress with you at the end of this phase, let you know how this all goes. But thanks for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. And until next time, happy training.